Greetings, precious, magnificent, divine being, that you always are, always will be. You cannot lose yourself. You may forget, but you need to remember. And remember who you are and never forget. Now, my topic. Who have you been giving the privilege to control you? Who have you been giving the privilege of controlling you? Now, you cannot serve two masters, for you will love one and you will hate the other. Now, what's a master? All right. Interesting word. A master, in the many different definitions of it, but we'll look at what we're all agreeing with, is someone who knows how to do something well. Maybe a master cookie maker, or master house cleaner, or a master plumber, or a master electrician, or just a master of relationships, of actually being expert at something. And the original word Aryan, which I don't want to get too much into, came from India. And India was never invaded by Aryans, so to speak. That's not true. That was brought by Miss Max Muller guy to make it appear as if the Vedas were inferior to so-called Abrahamic religions. Anyway, manufactured. So the Vedic teachings were written down maybe over 5,000-6,000 years ago, because people before that had really good memory and they could remember things, and because there appeared to be this degradation, depowering of humanity, where people were showing signs of losing their divine qualities. They were then giving those powers and those qualities to someone or something else. Okay. A master, a master is also what you call a slave master, or a master, maybe a school teacher who told you everything you did and you couldn't have your own realizations or your own knowing. You had to memorize, or you get your knuckles hit, or whatever it may be. So there are many different definitions of who a master is, but what, in a sense, it's who you make your God, who you make your an authority. I was talking with someone the other day and was saying how their health professional told them they had to do this, this, and this. I said, what do you mean? They told you what you had to do? Why are you doing what your health professional tells you to do? Why don't you just look at their advice and do your own research and make your own choices as to what you're going to do, your own decisions? Well, no, you can't do that. We're going to have somebody else. We need more psychiatrists and psychologists in the school district so we can give children more drugs. We need to have you go check in here so we know what you're up to, what you're doing, because we'll decide, and your refrigerator will tell you when you need food, and we'll know exactly what you're having, because we already know on your credit card everything you're buying and what you're doing and what you're doing. We're watching for patterns, and for changes. Yes, of course. So whoever you're giving your power to, whatever master you've been serving, is controlling you. They're determining your life in that sense. And I do a mastery and manifestation, which means become an expert at it, because you are already, but do it consciously. So then you're manifesting your heart's desire, not somebody else's program, what they've told you that is valuable and important and what's possible for you. Why are you going to somebody else to tell you, okay? That's why spiritual life has been so suppressed. And also, what we're dealing with on the outer world is a spiritual war. It's a war for your soul. It's a war for who you are. And you're the one choosing to where you're going to give your power to. And what happens with a feeble-minded person, that means a person who has given their power to other masters, anybody besides themselves, whoever they are. And so that person is very weak in their situation, and they just bounce around kind of like a little piece of wood floating on the ocean in turbulent waves, and always crushing against the rocks that appear and this and that, because they haven't taken the ownership of their own lives and they've been in situations where they just go along to get along because they've been so emotionally beat up and so harassed and so, and in fact, I used to volunteer at the Camarillo mental hospitals for the children. And these children were pretty much born normal, but the people around them, whoever these were, fosters or real or anything, had so abused these children, they were completely bonkers. That means their minds had taken over, and there was no real sense of who they are and their own position. See, no definition, no meaning is ever going to be who you are. So you cannot serve two masters. Do you serve the mind or do you serve your own knowing? And when you serve your knowing and you trust your heart, that doesn't mean that you don't use divine intelligence and divine reasoning, because you may say, I love everybody. Yes, we want everybody, but do you want everybody in your house? Do you want everybody in where you're living? Because some people, in fact, there are, according to the Vedas, and that's ancient knowledge, is that there are 400,000 different species of humanoids, and some of them are Rakshasas. Rakshasas are demons, they're blood drinking, they're parasitic, they're shapeshifters, which is a really good definition of the mind, because it's a shapeshifter given when anybody has turned their lives over to the mind, to the thinking process, to the definitions, the words, the meanings, and all this to determine. They've given it the privilege to control their life, and they've turned themselves over to that. Then they are a biological robot that is following a program because they want the perks, they want the rewards, and they don't want to be punished. They're afraid maybe they've been blackmailed, or they've been, the perks are so great that they can't live without all the stuff, because then they lose this and lose that and prestige, and then and then they're afraid they're going to die or be tortured, and it's all this stuff creates this scenario that only exists in your mind. And then what exists in your mind that you've accepted and you believe is true is going to manifest in your reality, because you're a manifesting creative God being. That's why, and you can't help it. You just can't help it. It's going to all the time. So you might as well find out how to use what you are and have consciously. That's why I offer you my counseling and work, teaching over the phone, and I do that on a love offering basis, and it's really good when you do it on a regular basis. So we're working together and you're making progress. Coming to retreats, you can come as individuals or as couples or family, and I have different rates. And then the basic retreat is very inexpensive, and you can even camp out. There's places to camp and everything. It's like, it'd be good for you, because then you'd be in nature and you really start owning your own power and owning who you are. And then also the mentoring for your career and finding out what is your life work and what do you want to be and how to prosper from it, how to get it to where, and if you have an important message, how to get that out to the peoples of the world. I know how to do that. I've done that. So I know how, know that you could do it, obviously, and will empower you and to do it, because I'll facilitate that. And then also to the coming to the retreats, and that's such a wonderful time for us to really get to know each other and for you to get the basics, and then for us then to keep touching base so that you keep empowering yourself and you transcend the beliefs of lack and limitations as you prosper mightily in everything that you do, because you're doing it consciously, knowing how the system works and coming from who you really are. And instead of giving the mind, which is a fabrication, which can be changed at any time, which is a programmed thing that is information that is being given to us by others who do not have your best interest in mind, and never think they do. They do not. You must have your own best interest in mind and know and be who you are, and then stand firmly, get those shoes off where you can get the sole of your feet onto the earth. And, realize in the ancient system of Tartarian and even like the pyramids, those are electrical centers. The whole place just worked on electricity, was be free to everybody. It had little spires on their rooftops which would collect energy that comes from the earth and in a relationship with the electromagnetic currents that are also flowing through all the ley lines of the earth naturally, not something you have to pay for and buy, and it's dangerous and everything. And take a look at check out Chernobyl, and how come, if it's all so bad around there, how come that place is full of wild animals that live there magnificently? Really? What's all the stuff they told you that would be there, and all the stuff that would be in the water from this other Fukushima? Where is it? Okay? Wake up. And I'll tell you, I write articles for the Awareness magazine. I also write articles for Lotus magazine. Lotus magazine comes out of Chico. It's wonderful. You can subscribe. Awareness magazine. Yolanda Pulakis is the owner of this. She's been a student for years, and a wonderful person, and great articles. So there's information out there for you to honor yourself. So you cannot serve two masters. You'll either love one or hate the other. So why hate yourself? And why love the mind and intellectualism, which is just an ego trip for people that want to feel superior to others because they know more than others and they know nothing of who they are. The real intelligent people observe it and they know who they are. You may not know who they are, but they know who you are. And these are the people that you want to have as friends, you want to work with, people that you know that are going to empower you and facilitate your success in everything, because it's all possible. Never give up on yourself. So, you can't serve two masters. Who do you serve? And when you serve your heart, you're also serving yourself and serving other people, empowering and enriching in every way. So claim your good, and that good is always with you wherever you are. All you have to do is trust and live by grace.
Good job.
Cool.